You are going to be amazed how this inexpensive cut of meat turns into the most delicious and flavorful meal. So stick around because we are plating up some Goan Pork Roast. Hi and welcome back to Plating It with Wendy, where I share with you recipes which impress with ease. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, share and comment. And if you enjoy trying out recipes that turn out right every time, you're at the right place. So go ahead, press that subscribe button, and while you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll be the first to get notified every time I upload a new video. Now, let's get started. For this recipe, we're going to go in with 1.5 kilogram of pork shoulder, and I like to choose a piece that has just a little layer of fat and no skin. Now let's work on the marinade. For this, we're going to put all the dry ingredients into the jar of our mixer. So we're going to go in with 2-inch stick of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon, which is about 55 to 60 black peppercorns, 10 cloves, 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, and 2 teaspoons of salt. Now let's dry grind this so that we get a fine powder. Now let's go in with the wet ingredients. So we're going to add in 2 green chilies, and I've just chopped them down so that it's easier to grind. Next, we're going to add 1.5 inch of ginger, and to that we're going to add 8 to 10 garlic cloves. Now to help grind this all to a smooth paste and for the flavor, of course, we're going to add 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. But if you have Goa vinegar, that would be best. Now that we have a smooth marinade, we're going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric powder. And I like to add it in at this point so that the lid of the mixer does not get stained. That's a little tip for you too. Now back to the meat. Let's smother it with that lovely marinade that we have just ground, and we're going to apply it to all sides, turning it around, making sure that we get every nook and cranny. To make sure that the flavor goes right through into the meat, we're going to use a fork and start piercing on the meat. This is going to help the meat absorb all that delicious flavor. Let's cover this up now and keep it aside to marinate for about 1 hour. But you could also marinate it overnight, and of course that's going to give you the best results. Now it's almost 1 hour since our meat has been marinating, so let's prep some of the other ingredients. So we're going to go in with another 3 to 4 garlic cloves, depending upon the size of the cloves, and we're just going to smash them down because we want to release the oils. And we're going to take 1-inch piece of ginger and slice it down. Now we can keep these big. We're going to take them out once we're done with the cooking process. And to keep the meat succulent and juicy, we're going to slice down 2 large red onions. Now you could even cube this or dice the onions if you prefer. On a medium heat, we're going to heat up a deep pan, and into that we're going to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil. And once the oil has heated up, we're going to toss in a 2-inch stick of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon, which is about 10 to 12 black peppercorns, 8 cloves, 6 dried Kashmiri chilies, and I'm just breaking them up here, the ginger that we had cut, the garlic that we had smashed, and the onions that we had sliced. Now we're going to saute this on a medium-high heat till the onions turn translucent. And we're going to saute this on a medium-high heat so that the onions do not release any of the juices. Let's sprinkle on about 1 teaspoon of salt and continue sauteing. Now that the onions are looking good, we're going to move some to the side and leave a little layer at the bottom before we turn up the heat to high and add in the meat. What we're looking to do here is to get some lovely color on all sides of the meat. To balance the flavors, I like adding in about 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, and the sugar is going to caramelize and help in the searing process. Searing the meat is going to help to lock in the juices, and more color means more flavor. We're going to keep turning the meat on all sides till we get a nice color all around. What I should have mentioned earlier is when you're putting the meat into the hot pot, you don't want to add any of the juices left behind in the bowl in which you marinated the meat. Now we're going to take 1.5 cup of water and pour it into our bowl, cleaning it out with all that marinade that has been left behind. Now let's add this into the pot, and we're going to give it a quick stir before we cover the pot with a lid and allow the meat to cook for about 15 minutes. Once the 15 minutes is up, we're going to take off the lid, we're going to turn the meat around on the other side, place some of the onions on the top, Cover it once again and allow it to continue cooking for another 15 minutes. Now we're going to repeat this process another 2 times, which makes the total cooking time 1 hour. After about an hour, once it has become tender, and you can test this by putting in a fork, and the gravy has thickened at the bottom, it's time to take it off the heat and allow it to cool for a while. And once the meat has rested, it's time for us to take out the whole spices, because their job here is done. Now we're going to take one of the chunks of the meat and start slicing it up. And just look how beautifully it slices. Now you could cut it as thick or thin as you like. Now you could either cut this on the same day, or you could keep it in your fridge overnight to mature, which of course the flavor is better. To plate it, I like to place some of that thick gravy at the bottom and then slide on the beautifully sliced pork roast. To finish it off, let's glaze it with some of that gravy on the top. Oh my goodness, just look at that bite. And now it's time to give the pork roast a taste. Wow, and I'm so excited. I'm going to take this one slice. This looks so good, and some of the deliciousness from the bottom. Wow, that cuts like butter. Just check this out. Put some of that goodness on. Wow, this pork roast is absolutely delicious, and it's my mom's favorite because the entire family enjoyed it. Now you can make it every day, any day, or for special occasions, and it also goes very well when you make sandwiches. So if you want to make this, hop onto my website, platingitwithwendy.com, or you can hit the link in the description box below for the full written recipe. Thanks for watching. See you soon.